Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, August 16th. It is 6:19 right now. Market's going to open in about 11 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. Just got a couple of things here to update and we should be good to go. That's good. A few more things here. Perfect. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. And we can get started with our analysis for today. Just going to post this in one last place. And we should be good to go. Perfect. All right, guys. Good morning, everybody. Today's Wednesday, August 16th. It is 6:22 right now. Market's going to open in about 8 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and start marking up liquidity over here on the weekly chart. And we'll move down to the 10-minute. So we'll start off right here on the weekly. Color that blue. There we go. Over to the daily. Go over to the 8-hour. Down to the 4-hour. Two-hour. One-hour. Go down to the 30. So I'll change this to red. $15. $10. And I think that should be it. All right, guys, marked up all the liquidity over here from the weekly down to the 1 minute. Looks like there's not really much close liquidity to current price right now. I mean, the lower level liquidity is pretty far down. I don't know if there's going to be any liquidity today. I mean, closest level is going to be the one above here, but it's still pretty far. Going down to the 10-minute, there's nothing there. 15, nothing there. 30. Yeah, there's not really too much here. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. Maybe there's just no liquidity today, but liquidity's been hitting for the past, I don't know, the past couple of months now. So we'll see. But it's all good. If there's no liquidity, then it's fine. It's not really a big deal for us here. So, all right, let's see who's here so far. Morning Van Hartwig, morning Dan, morning Kenny, morning Surin, morning Karen, morning Kenny, morning Marcin, morning Daniel, morning CJ, morning everybody. Today's Wednesday, August 16th. It is 6:25 right now. Market's gonna open in about 5 minutes. Looks like people are still making their way in. But for the most part, marked up liquidity over here. Let me go to the clean chart. We had a couple of news events this morning. So we had news over here at 4 o'clock, 5:30, 6:15. So 4 o'clock, 5:30, 6:15. Let me go ahead and mark that up. 4 o'clock. Get there. 5:30 and 6:15. 4 o'clock, 5:30, 6:15, 5:30, which was right there. You can kind of tell where the news is because it's usually a weird looking candle. But the candle is usually it's a little unusual compared to the others. Right there. All right, just a couple of news prices right there that I marked up. We have more news coming up over here at 7:30, and that's about it. Today's Fed day, guys, so just keep that in mind. You might get some low volatility throughout the day, and then the volatility will pick up a little bit later because a lot of people are just scared about what's going to happen, when the Fed news comes out. So I'm going to go ahead and mark up the news over here at 7:30. And I think that is about it for today, right? Yeah, that's about it. A lot of low impact news, just gas, oil stocks and stuff like that. But we're still going to keep that in mind when looking for possible entries here. Next step, I'm going to mark up the levels. So I'll start market levels up over here so we can just be aware and prepared when market opens. So 50, 40, 30, 60, 70, 80, 90. As you guys can see, the volatility is very low right now. So there's not really too much going on. ATR is currently at 8. It's not really moving too much, pretty much expected for pre-market. We'll see how the market moves on market open. But as I mentioned, today's Fed day, there's Fed news coming out at 11 o'clock, I believe. Yeah, FOMC minutes. So Fed news minutes today at 11 o'clock. The market might be flat until then because a lot of people are just going to be sitting on their hands waiting for some sort of confirmation before they take a trade. Looking over here at IG sentiment is currently 63% short. This indicates that 63% of retail traders are currently selling right now. We typically want to do the opposite of them and buy, but it's not very high. So we typically want it to be above 65% or more. So right now it's at 63. It's still bullish, but it's more of a bullish neutral. Until it goes above 65, then we're not really going to be too set on sentiment here. Looking over here at the fundamentals are currently at negative 52. So they're pretty much flat neutral right now. Not really too much of a bias. So we'll go ahead and put that over here. So today's overall bias, retail sentiment is currently neutral bearish, or neutral bullish actually. 63% short. Fundamentals are neutral. They're at negative 50 points. Short-term technicals, long-term technicals. So short-term technicals over here are bearish, as you guys can see on the 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute time frames. Prices below the pivots, trend meters are red, pivots are angling down. It's the same over here on the higher time frames as well. In the 30-minute, 1 hour, and 4 hour time frames, prices below the pivots, trend meters are red, and pivots are all angling down. So with that said, we do have a bearish bias with regard to the technicals. That's pretty much all that we can really work with, at the moment. We'll see what happens when the market opens. As I mentioned earlier, there's not really too much liquidity anywhere. I mean, looking down below, closest level of liquidity is, I mean, it's nowhere to be seen. It's right there, 4 hours. So closest level of liquidity is about 3,000 pips away. That's probably not going to get hit by today, but we'll see. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens as we go. CERN said they're officially in recession in London, I believe. I don't know. Sorry. Sure, is that London? And I know it's not New Zealand. Oh, Netherlands. Yeah, I was thinking, what's no, Netherlands? Okay. I was thinking London, but Netherlands. Yeah. So the Netherlands are officially in recession. So we might see the market kind of drop down a bit, but I mean, we'll see what happens here. Here we go. As market opens, price kind of pushes up a little bit. It's not a very strong push, but it's just, that market open push right there. We'll see if it holds or if it continues to bounce around. The volatility is not that high overall. It's just high right here on open. So you want to be a little careful with looking for entries here, of course. But I do have the levels marked up right there. So morning, Maria, morning, Shannon, morning, James, morning, Rashida, morning, everybody, morning, Randy. All right, guys, so market is now open. You can see prices kind of bouncing around from this area. I'm going to mark opening price right there, color it blue. So you just got to be patient, guys. Just be patient, wait for price to come around. I mean, price may push up, price may push down. Look, you guys can see from the overall bias, there's not really much of a direction right now, right? Retail sentiment is neutral, bullish. Fundamentals are neutral. Short-term technicals, they were bearish. I don't know if they're bearish anymore. You can see over here that they're now starting to push up. So we're going to have to change short-term technicals to neutral. Looking over here at the higher time frames, let's see that as well. Higher time frames over here are still bearish. So with that said, I mean, we'll see if this holds or if price continues to correct back up. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens in the next couple of minutes or so. Price might come up and try to touch the liquidity up there. So that might be the case. Price might climb up, touch liquidity, and then come right back down, right? It's not like something you haven't seen before. So just keep that in mind. Closest level of liquidity is going to be up there. There's not really much of a bias for a buy today. So I might be a little careful. You might want to be a little careful if you're looking for a buy there. You might want to see a bit of a retracement. So you want to see price push up, consolidate a bit, blast through, and then get out at 100 pips. Don't hold on to it for too long because a lot of uncertainty with regard to, what's going to happen next. But anyways, there goes liquidity right there. There's only one close level of liquidity. Price is kind of climbing up here a little bit. We don't really have a confirmation of a bullish bias just yet. But if this is the case and price continues to climb, then there may be possible entries here for a buy. But I mean, who knows? We'll see. Let me go here to the clean chart. So right here in the clean chart, I'm going to mark up opening price, which is right there. We got that. Opening candle right there. And 8 o'clock candle right there. So once the market stabilizes a bit, I'll mark up structure. Right now, price is climbing. Looks like it's going to climb up and hit that liquidity point right there. I'm not going to take it. I'll hold off on it. But if you guys want to take it, just be careful. You want to make sure that price kind of consolidates a bit here before you actually climb into it. Let's measure it, see how far it's pushed up. So price is pushed up about 1,000 pips. Price may blast through it, but again, it's a bit overextended in my opinion. So, I mean, if you guys want to take it again, feel free, but I'm not going to take it myself. I probably would want to wait for maybe a retest or consolidation on this area. So looks like it's pushing through. We'll see if it actually hits immediately or if it retraces back a little bit. It's just a bit overextended. So that's why I'm not really looking to chase it right now. There you go, it's a blast right through. So if you guys took it, great. There goes the level of liquidity right there. It's the closest one from where price was currently at. I wouldn't hold on to it. I'd pull out of it right away because you can see right here that price is now starting to kind of lower down a bit. Nice. Shiv took the liquidity. So great work right there, Shiv. Yeah, so there goes the liquidity right there. If you guys are going for it again, like I mentioned, guys, that's why I only marked up 100 pips. Get in and out quickly. You can't be too hesitant on here. You're either going to take it or you're not going to take it, right? If you're not in it already and you didn't take your profit, don't enter it late, because you can't get scared in a position like this. If you're taking liquidity, you either got to be 100% in it or you got to be 100% out of it. I was 100% out, so I didn't decide to take it at all. But whoever took it, I mean, you should have hit your TP right there. And then here he goes, it comes back down. It's doing exactly what I mentioned earlier. So I drew this right before this even happened. I said price will probably climb up, hit liquidity, and then come right back down, right? So just be careful, guys. This isn't a pattern that's new to us. We've seen this happen multiple times. But yeah, again, like I mentioned, it was a bit overextended, so I didn't decide to take it myself. But looks like a lot of you guys here did take it. Randy got it. Maddie almost got it, but he canceled it. Kenneth got it for 100. Shiv got it. Yeah, nice work, guys. If you guys have profits to post up, feel free to send them in. Just a reminder, guys, when you guys are posting profits, like Kenny over here just posted his profits, he took that liquidity push, total profit of 1,120 for the day. Nice work, Kenny. Sending your profits isn't necessarily showing off, guys. It's really just keeping yourself accountable, right? If you guys are posting profits every day, it's going to make you feel good, right? Your trade psychology is going to be on point, and your morale is going to be high. So if you guys keep posting profits every day, whether it's wins or losses, it's going to keep you in check, because if you post wins all the time, you're just going to want to keep winning, right? You become addicted to winning. That's how I am. That's why I never really lose very much, because I'm just addicted to winning. So, whenever you come on these live sessions, if I mark up a trade, it's probably going to hit. And whenever I take a trade, it's usually going to win, because I only take high quality trades. So just keep that in mind, guys. There's no need to be afraid to share profits. I know a lot of you guys tell me that you want to share profits, but you're just kind of shy. Trading is not a space to be shy in, right? You have to you need to do what you need to do to bring your confidence up. If you're not confident in yourself, you're not going to be good at trading. You gotta think that you're the best trader out there, even though you're not, until you get to that point, because it'll come natural to you eventually. Like for me, I don't have to think too much when I trade. I just see the entry, I mark it up, I tell you guys what I think is going to happen, and then you guys are able to take trades based off my analysis. So there's another level of liquidity up here, guys. I would really be careful about this higher level here. I know it's a higher liquidity level, but again, price here is very overextended. So, I mean, if you guys want to take it, feel free. I'd probably only go for 100 pips though, so just keep that in mind. I wouldn't necessarily get greedy here. So there we go. As price pushes through, again, it's a little overextended. I'm not in this position. I'm just marking it out for you guys. I'm not really a big fan of liquidity anymore. I mean, I like liquidity, but only in certain situations, like if I have a bias. Right now, we don't really have much of a bias. The bias is really for a sell today, and price is still pushing to the upside. The only strong bias we have is for sentiment. So there you go. 2 levels of liquidity right there just got hit. Man, this thing's climbing pretty high. So pretty much every level of liquidity that I marked up for you guys here got hit. So I marked up lower level, blue level, red level, all full TPs. So nice work, guys. If you guys are catching these liquidities, great work. I just don't have the stomach to hold on to a position like this right now, especially when there's not much of a bias. But there we go. So this is how quickly the tables can turn, right? So I mentioned earlier, guys, the technicals were bearish earlier this morning, and price just ended up shifting all the way back up. That's why I don't really follow technicals very much, because a lot of people like to trade just strict technicals. I don't think technicals here are a very strong factor in my opinion. I prefer to go with retail sentiment. Retail sentiment over here was actually bullish, 63% short. Price actually went all the way up, and it looks like a lot of people are actually chasing so they're trying to catch the top. I think price will just keep climbing now. You can see over here it went from 63 to 65. It's bullish now. It's definitely bullish. So I would probably be careful looking for sells in general, because I think this is going to keep climbing. This is like the logical thing with retail traders, right? Whenever you guys look at retail traders, or even how you guys used to trade before you started trading with me, I'm sure a lot of you guys used to trade this way. You used to think, okay, price is too high, it has to come down, right? A lot of times that's not the case. Price just keeps climbing. So a lot of these retail traders are getting wiped out right now. And we'll see if we can get a possible entry over here on retracement if that ever happens. So it looks like price pulled up right here. And there was actually an entry right here at 635. It was a little too early for me, but it was still an entry at that point. So I'm gonna go ahead and push up these levels to a higher level up here because we're super far from where price is currently at. But again, price is definitely very overextended at this point. I'm probably going to wait for price to retrace down a little bit and then give me another momentum signal because the momentum signal actually got hit already. Down below. So this entry right here, see how there's a buy signal? So the momentum pullback scalp actually got hit right here already. So it's a little too late for entry using this momentum. We had a buy signal right here. The trend started to shift bullish right here. This red candle was a retracement. It retraced to 33. So entry would have happened right here at 30. And that would have been the momentum pullback scalp. But again, it's a little too risky of an entry. It's too early in the session. But yeah, that was the entry right there. So I'll probably wait for the next retracement. And then once we get that retracement, I'll look for possible entry. But right now, I'm just going to sit tight, not get too crazy, and wait for possible entry here. So I got the levels marked up right there. So when price does come back down, so what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for a sell signal. I'm looking for price to pull up, sell signal, maybe come down a little bit, push back up, and then continue up higher. That's where I'm going to be looking for entry. So I need to get a sell signal here first to confirm the retracement. It's way too overextended right here. I need for it to retrace down a little bit. It's getting closer to 640, so it's getting time for our momentum pullback scalp, entry anyways. And again, like I mentioned, guys, just a matter of patience. If you guys took liquidity pushes up here, great. There's a lot of opportunities here. I mark up these levels every day before market open. So you had a bunch of opportunities here. 1, 2, 3, 4 entries that you guys could have taken, and they all hit full TP. There's literally impossible for you to lose any of these trades unless you entered really late. All of these trades should have hit straight TP as long as you entered them when you were supposed to. So my ship said he got the upper liquidity. Yes, he chased the momentum pullback to hit TP. That was a nice move too. Marcin said he was a bit late. Yeah, so Marcin, again, when you're taking these entries, it's impossible to lose, right? Don't enter late. If you miss the trade, then just don't take the trade, because even if you entered at any point here, so there's one entry point right here, there's one entry point right here, one entry point right there, it's literally impossible to lose, right? There's no way you could have lost the trades if you entered at the right time. So if you miss the trade, don't enter late. If you're thinking about it, don't even think about taking it again. If you even give any thought hey, should I take this trade? Don't even think about it anymore. You're done. You lost the trade. You're too late. Because if you look right here, you can enter at this price point. It's impossible for it to hit stop loss, right? Even right here, see how I hit the blue level? It's impossible because your stop loss would be down here. Even if you hit this red level over here, it's impossible because price never came down to the stop loss. Even right here, impossible. So here's the thing. If it hits the TP already, or if it already passes entry point, don't even think about taking the entry, right? You might as well turn off your MT4 at that point. if you really, because your trade psychology is gonna mess with you and you're gonna start to get greedy. So if you're going to enter these trades, make sure you enter at the specific price point. Don't try to enter when it's already in profit and you think it's going to keep climbing up. Because what happens is, actually, I don't even know how you lost any trades here, Marcin, because if you entered up here, even if you entered really late over here, it never came down to stop loss, unless your stop loss was super tight. That's the only thing that I can think of, because even if you entered right here, it's impossible because the price never came down that far. I'm assuming you probably got in at this very late level, way up here. But even if you got in at this late level, I think it's still impossible. Where'd you get in from? Because now I'm looking at the push right here. Price never pulled back 300 pips ever when it pushed up. Even up here, if you got in really late up here, you'd still be in the position. Oh, okay, so that's the thing. So he pulled out for a loss. So it was it's impossible for you to lose any trades here even if you got in late, because the price never pulled back 300 pips. It just kept climbing higher and higher. So okay, that makes sense, Marcin. So Marcin only took a loss because he pulled out manually. It's virtually impossible for you to lose. You could have entered a trade late at any point here. If I entered a trade right here, and I was like, oh yeah, I felt risky and I want to enter a trade, I'd still be in the position. I'd be drawdown right now, but I'd still be in the position because it's like impossible to lose a trade at any of these entry points. But it's okay. I mean, it happens. If you get scared, Marcin, then it just reminds you that you need to work on your trade psychology, right? So it's okay, guys. If that's your case and you guys get scared, that just is just a reminder that you need to work on your trade psychology. You got to like stop taking, what we consider dumb trades or like risky trades. And you got to like just sit down and wait for your trade psychology to like reset. Because right now, if you're trading off emotion, you're probably gonna lose a trade. So if you're emotional right now because you probably missed any of these levels of liquidity, then don't even bother taking trades until you're like ready to trade, right? Just take a step away from the computer or go get a drink of water or something. I don't know, do something where you're not looking at the chart. Because if you get your FOMO right here, if anybody gets FOMO around this area, it's probably not going to end well for you because price is consolidating right here within this area. And one of two things will happen. Price will either keep climbing up and spike up, or it's going to come down hard. So if you have like FOMO right now, it doesn't matter which direction you trade in. You're either going to get lucky or you're going to get unlucky because it's going to break out. Price is starting to squeeze right here, and it's going to break down one direction. So whichever direction you're trading in, if you think price is going to come down, it might hit your TP. If you think price is going to continue climbing, it might hit your TP. But if you're on the wrong side of the market, you're going to get wiped out. So I would just sit out of the market right now, guys. Don't take anything because price is just consolidating around this area. When price is done consolidating, it sets up for a breakout. So the breakout is going to happen probably in the next 15 minutes or so. So, all right, sentiment is up like crazy right now. So Maddie just mentioned sentiment is now up 75% or 67, sorry, 67%. So it's up pretty high now. We do have a bullish buy, so I think price will continue climbing. What might happen here is we might get a retracement and then price will just continue climbing right after. They can't just keep pushing price up because if they keep pushing price up, people are not going to enter sells, right? So I think what's going to happen here is price may consolidate a little bit, may push up slightly, come back down, create a bigger range, and then eventually it's going to come up and just wipe everybody out. Or it might just keep climbing right here to keep adding on to more sellers here on the sell side. So this is why I like looking at sentiment. I think sentiment's like the best indicator for you to look at if you want to look at direction of price. You guys can see here that technicals are unreliable, right? Earlier this morning, everything was bearish, right? Bearish on the short term, bearish on the higher time frames. Look where price is now. It's way above. So I don't really like looking at technicals very much. Technicals are cool like for short-term movements, but you guys can see that everything can change in an instant. Market opened right here at 6:30 and price went straight from super bearish to like super bullish now. So everything is back to bullish. We actually have a bias now because, well, let's put neutral here for long-term and then bullish here for short-term. Let's look at the fundamentals. Fundamentals are currently, they're up 100 points now, 169 points. So we're definitely in a very strong bullish bias at this moment. Yes, we got a bullish bias right now, guys. We're definitely looking for bias here, but we're going to look for price to kind of retrace first. So price is obviously overextended right here. I'm going to wait for price to retrace down a little bit. I mean, hopefully the retracement happens. If it doesn't happen, we're just going to have to sit tight and wait for confirmation here. So in order for us to get a confirmation of retracement, we need to get a sell signal. So I need a sell signal. I need price to pull back a little bit, and I need to get a buy signal after to confirm the continuation. And this thing is just climbing though. ETR is currently at 22. There's another, so if you were taking multiple entries per momentum, there's one right here, of course, right? There's one entry right here. There was no entry right here. There was another entry right here. And that's about it. There's two entries. So right here, price pulled back to 33. Entry would have been at 30. Right here, price pulled down to 44. Entry would be at 40 right there. So just be careful, guys. I wouldn't recommend entering any trades right now. Like what Maddie said over here. It might even climb to New York Sessions high. It's definitely luring some traders in this area. Yeah, so you want to be careful about round trade. I feel like this is a high manipulation area because, so here's the problem. There's going to be a lot of degenerates who are going to be chasing like us. There's going to be degenerates on both sides, right? You're going to see people who are trying to chase the climb because they see this big push to the upside. So you're going to see a lot of people looking to chase this climb up, right? And then you're going to have the other half of the people who are thinking that price is at a ceiling, right? Because it looks like it could be at a ceiling at this point. Here, let me see. This is a clean chart right here. So I'll show you where there may be, or actually, let's just go to the actual clean chart. Okay, so here's a clean chart right here. There's like no zones, right? So we'll go on the higher time frame. Let's go on the 5 minute. Let's go on the hour. Okay, so price is actually in a very, I wouldn't say very strong, but in a decently strong resistance zone on the 1 hour. So on the 1 hour, this whole area right here is actually a big resistance. So you can only imagine, right? For certain people who are trading this right here, they're thinking, okay, price has to bounce off this area. So you're going to get a lot of degens that are looking for sells here because they think price is at a double top. They think price is double topping right here at this point. They think it's a strong resistance. So you're going to see a lot of people who are thinking to take sells right here, right? Obviously, because they think this area is a resistance point, which could be the case. I mean, it could be the case where this could be the resistance. However, you're going to have a lot of people who are also chasing this push to the upside, right? And they think price is going to keep pushing up. So you get people on both sides. You can look over here on the 5 minute. The 5 minute's pretty, I mean, it's pretty clear that price is climbing. Obviously, 10 minute price was climbing, 15 minute, because these are the main. If you guys are looking at, or if you guys know day traders typically trade on the 5 minute. They trade on the 5, 15, and 10. So you can see this big push up. You'll see a lot of people chasing that. Same with the 10 minute over here, the big push. People are obviously chasing that. And then you got people who are trading on the higher time frames in 1 hour, and they see this as a double top. So just be careful with your entries here, guys, because there's a lot of different traps here that are being set up, in my opinion, for people who are trading in both directions. So it doesn't really matter to us because we're trading short term, and we have this right there as a resistance. So the good thing about our resistance is that it's not very strong. It's actually kind of weak. So price can easily just break through it, but it's going to have structure. So here's the main chart. I'm looking for a sell signal. Again, right there, we have a pending sell signal. I need price to come down a little bit. I want these sellers to have some hope that price is going to come down. So I want price to come down slightly, provide a sell signal, and climb down a little bit. And then when it shoots back up, then we're going to be ready to catch that push to the upside, right? So I need something like this. I need price to come down slightly, have the sellers think that, okay, price might be coming down a little bit. And then once it switches back up, we'll be ready to take that trade to the upside. So we just got to outsmart market, and we're going to do that like we've been doing every day, right? I see this pattern right here playing out, same pattern that's been playing out for a long time now. We just need price to come down. We need to give these sellers some hope to think that they have the proper direction. So I need price to come down slightly. We get that sell signal. Perfect. All right, this is great. It's exactly what we're looking for. All right, this is definitely going to close. So now that we have that, perfect. Let's have the sellers think that they have some hope right here. And they think price is going to swing back up. I don't think price is going to swing down just yet. Sentiment is very high now. It's currently at 69% short. So I'm ready to see all these people get wiped out. It's pretty high. It went from 63% to 69%. That's how many retail traders are like, they're basically banking on price to come down. If sentiment is climbing up that high, then that's crazy. Well, you know, what happened here, I think a lot of retail traders just had a bunch of their sell stops just sitting right here, or their sell limits. And unfortunately, when price climbed up, it filled all their orders without them even knowing. So I think a lot of people are actually in a lot of sells right now, and they don't even realize they're in sells. Because that's why I don't like using pending orders, because if you have pending orders like that, you know, price can spike up super quickly, fill your order, and now you're screwed because you're in the position. So, and if you look back, so if we go to the clean charts, So you can kind of tell where everyone's sell stops were sitting. So right here on the 1 hour, you can see there's probably a bunch of sell stops that were sitting right there. There was actually a bunch of sell stops probably sitting right here too, because that's where the high was. You go down to because a lot of people like to catch they try to catch like a double top or something like that, right? You guys know how that happens. Like just look at any of these highs, right? These highs right here, I can see a lot of people who got screwed right here because they probably thought, oh, it's gonna triple top right here, right? And like what happened was price spiked up right here. They got filled for that sell and price just kept climbing higher and higher. So I'm sure that's happened to you guys, a lot of you guys in the past, where you guys have a zone here and you're like, oh, this is a double top. If price comes down a third time, it's going to have to bounce again, right? So you have your sell limit waiting right there. And unfortunately, for a lot of people, they're not following their trades. So they see stuff like this happen and then they just get caught in a position. Now they're like in some massive drawdown. And instead of pulling out, they're just praying that price will come back down, right? And here are their prayers getting answered before they get wiped out. It's probably going to come down slightly, and then eventually it's just going to shoot right back up, and they're going to get stopped out. And we laugh about this because this has happened to us a lot of times. I'm sure it's happened to you guys in the past. It's happened to me a ton of times where I get caught in a position. Like say, for example, I get caught in a sell position, like right here, right? And I'm in like close to my stop loss. And I'm sure this has happened to a lot of you guys where you get caught in a position and then you're just like praying. You're praying to God that price will come down to your opening price right here so that you can close out for break even, right? And I'm sure this has happened to a lot of people. And what happens is price gets close to your break even. And then as soon as it gets there, it spikes right back up and stops you out, right? And you're super pissed off at that point. And I've been caught in this position so many times. So I'm just waiting for this to provide me opportunity for entry because I'm waiting for this to come back up and then stop all these people out. I'm expecting a lot of stops to be sitting around up here. So when price does swing back up, I'm gonna be ready to climb that to the upside. I'm just waiting for my opportunity. I'm just fishing for that entry. This is another reason why I like scalping. I don't like intraday trading or day trading anymore because I would get caught in a lot of positions like this. It's just crazy. I learned so much from my mistakes that I know how to like outsmart the market now. So like now I'm waiting for this to come back up and stop all those people out. And then when it comes back up, we're all gonna be ready to take that trade as well. So just a matter of time until that plays out. Yeah, Ben Harvick said the moment we all get religious. Kenny's asking, was that a momentum pullback for a sell? No, I don't see any momentum pullback here for a sell, Kenny. The trend here is bullish, so we wouldn't. You'd be trading the direction of the trend. So you trade in the direction of momentum and trend. So looking at this right here, I mean, there's a sell momentum, but there's definitely no momentum. There's no trend for a sell. Trend meter down below is green, prices above the pivot. Pivots are angling up, red pivots below all of these. So we're still looking for a buy here. So no momentum pullback scalp. Right there, Kenny. I think you're missing like the other portion of the strategy. You're looking at the momentum here, but you need to have the trend as well. So I can put up the criteria over here. So you're identifying direction of momentum and trend. So you got half of it right. You got the momentum, but you don't have the trend. So you need both so that you can trade in that direction. So what will happen here, Kenny, is if price comes down below to this point. So say we get a sell signal and price flings down below this area, right? If that becomes the case and the trend meter turns red and price is below the pivots and the pivots are angling down, then in that case, yeah, you can start looking for the sell, like maybe somewhere around this area. Like this momentum would still be valid. You just can't take the entry until the trend is confirmed too. So it's all good. It's all good. It happens with a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people just skip steps sometimes and they don't even realize it because they're just looking for that entry. So volatility here is pretty low. We're just waiting for a confirmation of, direction, confirmation of, we already have the trend, obviously. We have a bullish trend here. We're just looking for momentum and direction. Once we have that, we can start looking for a possible buy. Or if price comes down below, we can start looking for a sell. There's no need to be focused in just one direction. We have to be a little patient with the confirmations here. Let's see. CJ said, Sean, you said that we would start picking up patterns involuntarily, and you're right. These patterns are jumping out at me like that Beyonce meme where she sees all the equations and I'm tripping out right now. Yeah, no, exactly, CJ. Like if you guys follow my live sessions enough and you guys understand like my explanation of like how the market works and how we're looking for these basically traps set up for retail traders, you'll start to see a lot of patterns that you don't really realize. Like I don't really look for patterns ever, but a lot of times when we take an entry, it kind of looks like a head and shoulder sometimes. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen that. Like I showed you guys the past couple of days. Like for example, here, I'm not really looking for a pattern, but this looks like it could be a possible, head and shoulders right here if it decides to come down, but I'm not looking for that. That's why I'm saying like if price continues to drop lower, that's completely fine because this could be the shoulder, this could be the head, this could be the shoulder. And if it continues to climb down lower, then we can take entry, down here. Or if price goes up, this is shoulder here, head, shoulder, and it goes up. It's just, the patterns, they appear without you having to look for them. So we'll see what happens here. Or, I mean, there's a lot of patterns like a W pattern. You guys know that. This is more like an M pattern, it looks like, or an upside down W pattern. Right? You got the W right there, or an M pattern. As price comes down right here. Let's take a look at sentiment. The sentiment's still high. Let's see. Sentiment is 69 still. So basically, whoever's trapped in the sell right now, they're basically hoping that price comes down to come to their opening price so that they can pull out. I'm just looking for price to correct back up. The volatility is still pretty decent. You can see that each candle kind of pushes through to the next level. So not too bad. Price is currently at the level 3 pivot. So there's a couple of different opportunities right here too. Price can even bounce off the pivot and push to the upside. So there's a lot of areas of balance here that you guys can possibly look for. This level 3 pivot, or you can even look down to the level 4 pivot down here, and the bounce can happen from there as well. There's just a lot of areas for bounce to happen. We're not looking for entry at bounce, but we're looking for possibility of, correction to the upside. So one sign that you guys can look for is maybe a V1 variation. So you can either look for a bounce off the pivot, bounce off the sessions, bounce off pivot for V1 variation. And then once you have that, price is probably going to continue to climb right back up. Like for example, right here, this could be a V1 variation right here. I'm not going to take the trade, but I'm just saying that this could be a possible V1 variation. I'm sticking to my game plan. As I've always told you guys, stick to your trading plan. Whatever you guys plan to trade today, stick to that. My main plan for today was to trade the momentum pullback scalps. I wasn't looking at liquidity, even though liquidity here hit. You could have taken any level of liquidity here, they all hit. I mean, it's just, it's really up to preference how you guys want to trade it. But yeah, for example here, like there's a lot of entries here that came up and they all worked out, but I wasn't looking to trade liquidity today. That wasn't my game plan. So I didn't take any of these liquidity trades. There was 4 entries here, they all hit. I was looking to take momentum pullback scalps, and that's all I'm looking for. Like if a V1 variation comes up here, great, but I'm not looking to take it. I'm looking to take momentum pullback scalp. So I'm not sure if this level, or I mean, it doesn't really matter because you can't really tell from that candle. I would have skipped it for a V1. Usually you need to see a double body or double wick, and it needs to be a clear candle. It can't be like a doji like that right there. A doji would be nice though, because the doji is also a reversal candle. If you guys ever see a candle like that, it's like a little T. All right, so price is still coming down. We still have a bullish trend though. So price does swing back up. That's completely fine. We can still look for a buy there. But the main thing that I'm looking for is I'm looking for a buy signal. Once I get a buy signal here, then I can continue to look for the continuation climb. And once we get that, I can look for entry. Right now, just nothing at the moment. All right, we got some more profits over here from Johnny. Johnny logged in a total profit of 1,137 for the day, all wins. Nice work, Johnny. We have Maria over here. Maria took a liquidity push. Great work, Maria. Total profit of 220 for the day, all wins. She took liquidity to the bottom, and then she took this from the top. So nice work right there, Maria. We got Dejan over here. Dejan locked in -7. Let's see. He closed out of the first liquidity with an L somehow. Look, so it looks like he might have gotten caught in slippage, Dejan, or if he closed out manually, he might have had the same situation as Marcin, where he just kind of closed out manually and end up with a loss. So a small loss right there, nothing too big. He only lost $70. Looks like it might have been slippage or something, but I've never seen slippage with TradeObate, so I'm not sure if it would be slippage or just late exit or entry. We have Patricia over here. Total profit of 1,875 on her first account, all wins. So nice work right there, Patricia. And then we have Patricia's copier over here. First account, total profit of 1,470. Second account, total profit of 1,320. And her third account, total profit of 1,129 for the day. Nice work, Patricia. All wins. Other than that, let's see if we have anything else here. We got Glenn over here. Glenn locked in a total profit of 200 for the day. Nice work, Glenn. Here goes Kenny. Nice. So Kenny just passed the 200K challenge. Nice work, Kenny, on passing that. We have Sisuk over here. Total profit of 3,400 on his first account. Nice work, Sisuk. Total profit of 3,600 on his second account. And a total profit of 3,400 on his third account over here. Nice work, Sisu. Great work all around. All right, so we currently have a buy signal right here, guys. So we're looking for price to push up a little higher. And then once it continues to push up, we'll look for entry. We have one more profit here from Kenneth, total profit of 675 for the day. Nice work, Kenneth. All right, guys, so solid profits across the board for everybody here. I haven't taken anything on my own account, so I'm just going to wait for my opportunity. I'm looking for price to push up a little bit higher, retrace, and continue climbing from that point. This entry point is going to be the 20 mark. So I gotta let price push up a little higher. And then I may be able to get some sort of entry point right here at the 20. All right, so I need price to push up a bit higher from where it's currently at. There we go. So I am now looking for a retracement. So if this red candle right here closes above this black line right here, my entry is going to be at the 20 mark. We got about 40 seconds left on this candle, so we have a lot of time. But again, it's going to have to close above that line right there. If it doesn't close above the line, there's not going to be any entry because it's going to be too low for us. So I'm fine with it just sitting above this line for now. We got about 30 seconds still on this candle. Got some time. If it comes too low, then no entry. But if it closes above the black line, then I'll be looking to take my entry right there. Got about 13 seconds left here. 8 seconds, see if it climbs above it. If it doesn't, then no entry at this point. No entry. All right, guys, unfortunately, no entry here. This area is going to be too low because it's going to be at the same level of the momentum. So no entry at that point. I'll let price climb up a little bit here. ATR is currently at 18, so it's kind of slowing down a little bit, but we still do have opportunity for entry here. So I need price to push back up, maybe retrace a little bit and provide entry for us to climb into this trade here. Looks like it would have been a decent entry too. If it would have just closed a little bit higher. It's all good. It's got to wait. It's only 7:08. We have a whole hour left, so it's got to be patient and wait for this confirmation here. Let me check if there's any other news today. The only news is at 7:30. It's low impact, so it's not going to be too big of a worry for us here. I think main thing to look out for would be the FOMC, but it's going to be later at 11, so should be all right. All right, so again, right here, possible opportunity if we get the retracement from this area here. We need to see this red candle close above this black line. If price pushes up a bit higher, then that's perfectly fine. We'll look for a higher level for entry. But right now, again, we want to see this red candle close above this black line right here, which is the 20 mark. And if it does, that's going to be where I'm going to be taking entry. Yeah, exactly. Randy said, looks like people might be waiting for news. Volatility is kind of dead. Yeah, I agree 100%. So market might be a little flat, might be a little slow. I'm be looking to take entry right here at the 20 mark if it closes red, but above that black line. About 15 seconds left here. About 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2. It's too low. It's too low. All right, so no entry there, guys. Close below that point again, unfortunately. Looks like price may just consolidate around this area for a bit, but we still have not used this buy signal. So until we get this buy signal, until we get an actual direction, there's no direction right here. So you can see where price is currently pushing. There's no direction, right? Price keeps going back and forth. We need price to push up, retrace anywhere really. It doesn't have to retrace to this point, but this is the closest point for retracement. You can see that it's inching above. Every time price pushes to this point, it gets a little bit higher. It's not at where it needs to be yet, but it is getting pushed up a little bit higher. And we'll see for the next retracement if we may get a possible entry. But you can see it's trying to get higher. Right now, there's just no direction. There's some direction, but not really that strong. Kenny said it's time for him to go back to bed. Yeah, no, definitely, Kenny. All right, so right here, price is now pushing up higher. If this is the case and we have a higher level of entry, then that's fine. If price pulls back again, our entry point is still going to be at 20. So we just got to wait and see where this candle closes. If it pushes up higher, that's perfectly fine. We'll take entry here at the 30 mark instead of the 20. It's just a matter of time until we get some sort of confirmation here. All right, Kenny, we'll see you back here tomorrow. Nice work. All right, so if this is the case and price pulls back to that point at the 30 mark, there may be a possible entry right there. If it closes like barely red, it looks like it's not going to happen. It looks like it might drop a little lower to the 20 mark. All right, so I got a pending order right here at the 20. It's a little bit of a risky trick here because of this pending sell signal. See if it fills it. If anything, I'll probably just skip this one. If it doesn't fill it right away, I'll probably just close out of it because of the that pending sell signal that came up. I'm gonna cancel my order, guys. I'm not gonna take this one because we had that pending sell signal. It was just, I would hate to enter the trade and then have to pull out for a small loss. So I'm not in the position right here. We're still following it, but I'm not in the position. I cancel it because there was that pending sell signal. And if the pending sell signal closed, I would have had to close out for a small loss, which would have been kind of a waste. Yeah, so you guys can see how there's a pending sell signal right there. If the sell signal would have closed, I would have had to close out for a small loss wherever it closed at. So I'm not in this position right here. We cancel it. Thanks, Maddie. Thanks, Oscar, for your guys' heads up too, because they told me that they were going to cancel it and they were going to skip it. So I did the same thing. I just held off and waited for it to, not that it'll probably still hit. It's going to be a really risky trade to be holding. Like, for example, right here, the sell signal still didn't come up. But if it does come up, you'd have to close for a small loss at that point, like at 100 pips, which is not a lot, but it's still, I'd rather not take the risky trade. So I'm not in this position right here. So I'll just move this away so you guys don't think I'm in it. Exactly. Yeah, Randy said the big wick looked intimidating. I agree. I saw that too. So I started to see a couple clues here. There was a V1 pattern right there. See how there was a double body? So there's a couple red flags here that were kind of indicating like, hey, I should probably hold off on this position. For one, I saw the double body. Two, you guys saw that big wick. And then price didn't really push in the direction that we needed, because we need to have a direction. Like, so when price, we get a buy signal like this, we need price to actually push up, retrace, and continue, right? But right here, price didn't really push up very much. It kind of just went sideways. Price went up, and then it just went sideways around this area. And then the bigger red flag was that we had a pending sell signal that came up on this candle right here. So it was a good decision that we closed out of that position. We didn't actually take it, because we probably either would have lost the trade or would have been into a massive drawdown right here. So yeah, I agree. Oscar said price barely pushed from the V1 for a sell. Yeah, and I agree with you too, Oscar. Definitely. Maddie said 20 was a bit too low for him. Too much back and forth on that level. Next buy signal should be nice. Yeah, I agree with you too, Maddie. All right, Dijon said he's going to run with his profits and he's going to come back tomorrow. Definitely, Dijon. We'll see you back here tomorrow. CJ said the xylophone looking candles, double wick, big wick, or double body, big wick, pending signal, pivots came together were a bit too much for me. Yeah, and I agree with you too, CJ. So that's a good thing. So this is the good thing about trading with a group, guys, is because if I was trading, I probably wouldn't have looked at all those things, or you probably wouldn't have thought to look at those things. But, you know, like with what CJ mentioned, what everybody else mentioned, CJ, Maddie, Oscar, everyone who helped with our analysis here, this gave us the opportunity to pull out of the position before we got caught in it, because there was a lot of red flags here, right? There was the V1 pattern right here. There's a reversal pattern, the big wick, the pending momentum. There's just things all together here, and the pivots are starting to shift down too. Also, as you can see right here, the trend meter is now blue. So we'll see if this continues to correct back down, or if it swings back up. I think right here at this moment, I think they're still trying to give these sellers some hope. So I think this is probably going to come down a little bit below the pivots. I think it'll fake out somewhere around this area, and then it'll probably come right back up. It's just a matter of time until it happens, but just got to be smart about it. Yeah, Maddie said it might reject off the Asia session. So that might be where the bounce could happen to right here. All right, it's just a waiting game again, guys. Volatility is kind of low. ATR is currently at 18. Got news in about 14 minutes. Hoping the volatility picks up before news, because the news is at 7:30. There we go with the buy signal. Okay, this might be our opportunity right here, guys. All right, so we need this buy signal right here. Once this buy signal closes, we'll look for another retracement and then possibility for entry. So we're looking for this to push up. We need this buy signal to close. So we got about 20 seconds left on this candle. Once this candle here closes, we'll look for the retracement or continued push. It doesn't matter whatever we get first. We'll probably continue push would be nicer. So we need a buy signal. We need a couple green candles to push price up, and then we need a retracement, and we'll look for entry at that point. Yeah, right now, there is nothing at the moment. We have a pending buy signal right here. Last candle did close with the buy signal. The volatility is kind of low right now. We need some power between the push. Again, another 50 seconds on this candle. Once we get this candle here, we'll see if this gives us the opportunity. If not, we're still going to keep waiting for this buy signal to close up. Volatility is kind of low though. So as you guys can see, the volatility went from like 22 up here. Now it's down to 18. And you can see these candles are barely moving at all. We got 20 seconds left on this candle. We need this candle to push up a little more. There we go. We got some momentum on this candle right here. We just need that momentum to actually close. We got 10 seconds left on this momentum signal. We got 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1. No momentum right there, guys, unfortunately. All right, we got to hold on another minute. So we got 3 previous candles over here with the momentum signals pending, still no close. Yeah, exactly. Ben Harwick said it's teasing right now, it really is. So if we get so if we get an invalid signal, that's fine. It's okay if it's valid or invalid. We just need more of a push. So if we get an invalid signal right here, we need it to be followed with some actual bullish signals, right, to continue pushing up higher. But yeah, it's just going to be a matter of time until we get that. Right now, the volatility is too low, so we're not really getting too much of a push yet, but hopefully we'll get one pretty soon. Maria said she prefers price above 35,150. Yeah, and I like that too, Maria. I think if price pushes above this area here, that'd be good. Because then we'll be out of this range, right? Because that's kind of where the range is stuck right now. It's stuck within this area. So yeah, it's a good area to look for. If it if it ends up climbing that way. I just noticed the pattern right now. I want to see if I see it over here as well. It doesn't really happen too often. So I kind of saw a pattern right here. And I'll tell you guys where. So the pattern that I kind of noticed right here is like when price goes past the momentum signal and there's no buy signal yet. I mean, there should be a buy signal here already, but it looks like whenever price pushes past the momentum. So like, see right here, we have a sell signal, but the trend is bullish. There's kind of an opportunity to enter early. So price pushed up right here and then price retraced, and then you could have entered right here. I mean, it would have hit TP because it would have came down, filled, and then went straight up already. But it's just a pattern that I just noticed right now because it doesn't happen very often. Usually if the candles move past the momentum signal, it gets an opposite, right? So we have a buy signal here, the candles go past it, we get a sell signal. We have a sell signal here, the candles go past it, but there's no buy signal yet. So it might be a way to get in earlier. So maybe it might be a variation to the strategy. I'll have to look into it, but that's something to maybe look out for in the future. Because you can see here, like price rarely goes, I don't really see it too often, goes past it and not give an opposite signal. Because obviously there's a pending buy signal here, but it just hasn't, it hasn't actually pushed in that direction yet. Anyways, we're not going to venture off. I just wanted to give you guys a little heads up of what I saw. And this is kind of how I edit strategies and how I make variations to specific strategies that we apply. We'll have one strategy that we apply, and I'll look for little patterns that happen along with it. And then I can basically put together another strategy that works the same way. It's just different entry points. So that's kind of how I put together like a lot of my strategies. It all started with the intraday scalp, and then from there it moved on with pivot scalp, high-low scalp, etc. There's just so many entries that happen around the same movement. All right, so we have another buy signal right here that's pending. It's about at the 20-second mark, so we still have about 25 seconds until this candle closes. Again, there's no direction here. As you can see, price is really just going back and forth. It's ranging between this area. I want to go to the clean chart market structure so that we can see, but I don't want to miss this candle close here. So I'll see if this candle here closes in the next 10 seconds or so. If it doesn't close, we'll probably switch over to the clean chart real quick, see if I can mark up some market structure. All right, no close there. So let me go over here real quick. So market structure right there. All right, so you can see right here that price is, I mean, for the most part, it looks like it's just ranging within this area. So I don't know if we'll get a buy signal anytime soon until price actually breaks out of this area. Right, so I mean, pretty much right here, you can see price is just ranging. So until price gets out of this area, probably won't get a buy signal. News is happening in about 7 minutes. So like what Maddie said right here, I actually don't care if price consolidates. I want price to actually get past news. And then once price gets past news, then we can start looking for some direction here. But again, we're not going to force any trades, guys. You guys know how this works. Got to be patient, got to wait for the proper entries. And, we got to take them when they come but we're not going to force anything here. All right, so it looks like price is like pretty flat. I think price will just stay flat until news. So there's no need to force anything here. We're just going to be a little patient, wait for a little more confirmation. Yeah, so it looks like price is going to retrace down a little more. I actually don't mind. I want it to keep retracing down a little more. So when we get down to this area, it'll actually push up. So here is the clean chart. Yeah, the volatility is pretty low now. It's at 17. And you can see that these candles here aren't even moving at all. All right, so we're just going to wait probably till after news. News is at 7:20, 7:30, 7:25 right now. We have about 5 minutes till news. Let's take a look at the profits over here. So we have a couple more profits here from, let's see, Shannon. So Shannon locked in a total profit of 158 on her first account, total profit of 158 on her second account, and a total profit of 158 on her third account. Nice work, Shannon. Yeah, it looks like NinjaTrader is cool. Do you guys like NinjaTrader? Seems like a lot of you guys are using it. You know, I might have to make the switch over to NinjaTrader as well for their copier function. I mean, the copier function here on TraderBase is not bad. It's not great, but it's also not bad. The only downside is that I can't put a TP stop loss, which does kind of throw me out sometimes. Vincent over here accidentally got into the pullback earlier, the one that we canceled. So Vincent got in and out super quick, locked in a total profit of 105. So nice work getting some profit on that trade, Vincent. Yeah, accidents happen. We have Andreas over here, total profit of 1,110 for the day. Nice work, Andreas. Solid profits right there. Nice. Thanks, Glenn. So Glenn over here created a script that plots prices by the tens. I'll try it out later and we'll see how it looks. But thanks, Glenn, for the share. So Glenn has put together the a little script over here. If you guys know how to use the scripts here on TradingView, you guys can try it out. I'll try it out later. I don't want to do it right now. It might mess up my my chart if I do that. Nice work, Maddie. Maddie over here took the liquidity push earlier. So Maddie's currently up 225 on his first account and 225 on his second account. Nice work, Maddie. Yeah, great work catching that liquidity. I was tempted to take the liquidity earlier, guys, but it was just, I don't know. It's just I just didn't feel right taking it. It didn't look as clear to me, so I didn't want to take it. I mean, if the technicals are super clear, I would have taken it, but they were kind of bearish, so that's why I was kind of iffy on taking the the buys there. Let's see. Shannon said she likes it. She used TraderBase dominant enter and stop because it copies to other accounts, but she uses them together as a chart setup. Gotcha. Yeah, no, good to know, Shannon. I'll probably try them out later in the future. Let's see. Kenny said just a thought, but what if we use one strat as a confluence for another strat? Like if it's a high-low hits, then we can expect a pullback to hit or another strat to hit. Yeah, we already do that, Kenny. So that's kind of what we do already. If we have an intro, we usually look back to see what happens. So like say, for example, we have a pullback and we look back, and then usually if you see a V1 variation or something, it's typically a good sign that price is going to push up. Like if price, so like if the, yeah, exactly. Maddie said strategy within a strategy, it's a double confluence. It's kind of similar to the triple confluence. So if you apply the triple confluence strategy, I mean, you can put together any triple confluence that you want, right? Like, so for example, if you're applying a triple confluence, you're looking for price to be above the pivots. You're looking for price to break and close above the high low, and then you're looking for a momentum signal as well. So that's called a triple confluence. It's basically what you're looking at as well, Kenny, but for that, it's a specific strategy. So the triple confluence doesn't happen very often, but when it does happen, it's usually a pretty good hit. It's a mix between momentum that's crossing above a high low. So it's like you said, like if you have a high low there and it happens, and then you also get a pivot scalp, and then on top of that, you also get an intraday scalp, then it's a triple confluence. Those trades usually almost always hit. We don't really have very many losses. I don't think we have any losses on the live, at least, applying a triple confluence. But a triple confluence can be applied with any three strategies. It doesn't have to be through the specific ones that are taught in that strategy. It can be any three. So it can be like a high-low scalp. It can be a high-low momentum scalp. It can be a momentum pullback scalp that kind of ties into a high-low scalp. It can be pivot scalp tying in with liquidity, right? Liquidity is like one of the big confluences that I use. I don't like taking liquidity by itself, but if I get a momentum pullback scalp and it goes into liquidity zone, then I'm like, okay, I'm going to take that trade because it's probably going to push through. So yeah, no, there's we technically do it. It's not very clear, but it does, like, I don't like explain it that way, but basically that's what a lot of people are looking for, and that's what I'm looking for myself. I think my main confluence is like liquidity, because we have that chart marked up already. But a lot of people use high-low scalps. Some people use high-low momentum scalps. Basically, any three strategies you like. All right, so we don't have any movement here. Here goes the news candle finally. Got the news candle right there. Let me mark that up. All right, perfect. We got the news candle right there. And the news candle didn't do anything. So nothing happened off that news candle right there. Let's check the news calendar real quick. All right, so the gas news came out right here. I mean, it's pretty flat for the most part. I mean, it's pretty flat in general. There's like one that was positive, three that were positive, but everything else is pretty much flat. All right, so there goes news price right there. Let's see if we get some direction here, hopefully, as we get closer to 8 o'clock. So it's 7:30 right now. We have 30 minutes till 8. I'm hoping we get some volatility to pick up here. ATR is currently at 15, so it's a bit slow, but we'll see. I mean, we still have opportunity for entry here, even if the volatility is a little slow. If it's above 15, if it's 15 or above, then we still look for entry here. The volatility is kind of low though, so. I'm hoping price has a negative reaction, or I'm hoping price has a late reaction to news. So right now you can see that there wasn't really much of a movement based off news. I'm hoping after the next couple of minutes, it's going to start to push up, because that's typically what happens. What happens here is a lot of people bet on news. They're like hoping price will push news somewhere, and a lot of times you'll get a fake out. So right here, I think this may be a fake out. Price may come down, fake out, and then come right back up. But I mean, who knows, right? Anything could happen at this point. The news was very anticlimactic. There wasn't really too much that happened off it. If price decides to drop lower, that's completely fine. We can start looking for sells, but right now we're just going to keep looking for, possible continuation. So we got one person over here in the public group. They're asking, how much should my first FTMO account be? So guys, nobody can tell you how much your FTMO account should be. It's really up to preference. If you're okay with the small account, then go with the small account. If you're okay with the big account, go with the big account. And that's not a question that anybody can answer for you, right? You guys got to like understand that, like, sometimes you guys just have to make a decision. Because it doesn't matter what account size you do. If you're not confident and comfortable with your trading, it doesn't matter if you have a 10K account, 25K account, 100K account, you're still going to blow the account, right? So if that's the case, then you should start with a trial account. So if you're confident, then go for as big as you want. Like if you know that you're going to pass, then just go for 200K. There's no point in slowing the process. But if you're still kind of like iffy and you're not comfortable yet, then, start with a 10K, 25K, etc. Nice. So Oscar said he's going for the 10K. The 10K is cool. I mean, it's a good start. Like it's a good start to to get your feet wet, and then you can always merge that later. So like say for example, you do a 10K and then later you do like a 50K, right? You can merge that into a 60K. It's not gonna hurt you. So it'll just take more time. So that's the main thing. It's gonna take some time for you to get everything built up, but I mean it's fine. It's fine with like whatever you it's really whatever you're comfortable with losing, you know. Yeah, no, Susu, I see your question. All right, so we don't have a direction yet. I mean, price is still kind of bouncing around. Volatility is picking up a little bit, not very much. So here's a couple of things that we're going to look for here. In order for us to take a sell, we need to get this red pivot above all the other pivots. If we get a buy signal, that's great. We'll start looking for some buys. But right now we have, I mean, the trend is still somewhat bullish right now. The reason for that is because the red pivot's below all the other pivots. If the red pivot goes above, then we're looking for sells. If the red pivot stays below, we're looking for buys. We just need a buy signal here. So the real thing is we need to have some direction. Once we have some sort of direction here, then we can start looking for entries. But right now we just don't have that. So just gotta wait for this here to confirm. Once it confirms, and then we can move forward. But yeah, right now, not so much. All right. I don't care where price goes. At this point, I don't care. Price can go up, price can go down. It's just right down the middle right now. So until we get something here, let's take a look at sentiment. Where's sentiment at? So sentiment's currently at 68%. Looks like a few people just pulled out. Maybe like 1% of the people they got tired of holding onto their sells and they're now out of their position. They're probably exiting some drawdown. Looking over here at fundamentals, fundamentals are currently still bullish, slightly bullish. They're up about 95 points. So I'll just leave it at that for now. This is at 68. It's not really much of a difference. Looking over here at the technicals, the short term is now a bit neutral. So they're both kind of neutral right now. They're not very strong in either direction. So I don't really care where price goes. I mean, if price drops below, that's fine. If price continues to climb up, that's fine too. All right, we got price kind of dropping down a little bit. The trend hasn't confirmed yet, but if this red pivot goes above all the other pivots, then this may be a possibility of switching direction. The sentiment's dropping as well. So this might, what I can see here is the market makers might drop price for a little bit just to give like these sellers some hope to hold their position, because if they don't, they're going to pull out, right? So looking at this over here, price is coming down a little bit. We'll see if the sentiment here picks back up. It's currently at 68. If it goes up to 69.70, then you can see that the sellers are starting to take the bait. Volatility is just too low right now. I need the volatility to pick up. It's currently at 15. If it goes anywhere below 15, I'm definitely not going to look for any entries. I mean, at the rate that price is going right here, I think price will probably stay at 15, if not go up slightly, because, and it's now 14. As soon as I said that, ATR went down to 14. Never mind. Okay, it went back. So it's currently at 15 now. All right, Van Harwick. Van Harwick said he's out for the day. Definitely we'll see you back here tomorrow. Randy said kind of slow week considering last week was really good. Yeah, and I agree with you too, Randy. Last week was pretty good for everybody. So it's kind of slow. You know, that's how the market works sometimes, guys. Sometimes it will go from a slow week to a fast week to back to a slow week. Like first week of this month was slow. It was kind of choppy. It was NFP. And then last week was solid. And then this week we're in third week of August, Fed week. It's kind of slow again. I think this will be slow until the Fed news comes out later today, and then it'll probably pick up for tomorrow. CJ said the market looks like CJ said the market looks like a side profile of a pterodactyl right now. It does, right? It looks like his little spikes right here. So how do we draw the rest of the dinosaur? Let's see. Pterodactyl. Kind of does. Trying to find a good picture here. So this is the dinosaur that CJ mentioned, the pterodactyl. It kind of does like how it's looking from the side, basically from his wings. I was thinking of a different dinosaur, like the ones that are kind of tall and long. It kind of does though, like his little beak kind of went up and then goes sideways. You guys are probably seeing those memes where people draw like pictures on the chart. I mean, realistically, if you took everything off the chart, it would look like that. And it's actually not that difficult to do. So let's go over here to like the queen chart. So like if you were to draw and you got like a marker, there's the drawing, so the brush. Maybe you do that and you just turn off the candles. I forgot how we turn off the candles here. I forgot how I did it. I showed you guys before how to do it. But yeah, you just turn off the candles like that and you'll see that it kind of like I forgot how to do it. I showed you guys before. There was a way to turn off the candles. And you could you can just draw random stuff on the chart. But whatever, it is what it is. I was just messing with you guys with the drawing there. Basically, yeah, you can see like things there, like these random patterns. Like people will draw like a Batman pattern. There's actually like there's a pattern like that. C6's favorite trading pattern that you guys have seen in the past. The Batwing pattern, the Spider-Man pattern. You know, those are the ones that Sisu used to make a lot of profit off that. So if you guys want to learn about the Batman pattern, you can just message Sisu and he'll explain it all to you. It was a set and forget Batman pattern. All right. So there's still no movement here, guys. Unfortunately, it's actually getting slower. So you can see how there's like no movement. There's a couple ways to see if there's movement in the market. So one thing to look at would be if price is passing through these black lines, right? Price isn't passing through these black lines at all. So you can see that price is not even moving 100 pips. It's moving less than 100 pips. And then if you look over here at the ATR is currently at 13.14 right now. So it's very low. In order for us to have entry here, the ATR has to be at least 15 or above. Which you guys can see over here that there's not any movement. So there's not really, I wouldn't recommend anybody take any trades right now, because if you take a trade, you might get caught in a really bad position, especially if the volatility stays pretty low. Right here, though, you can see we have a possible buy signal coming up. Okay, so volatility is starting to pick up a little bit, not a lot, but it's picking up a little bit. We'll see if there may be possible opportunity for entry here. The trend here hasn't confirmed. As you can see, the pivots are now kind of mixed up. So what we need to see here is we need to see this red pivot below all the other pivots. And then maybe the trend meter turn green. It's not necessary for the trend meter to turn green. I think the pivots here are going to be more important. So we're getting some volatility here. And we now need to just confirm that this volatility will actually hold. All right, so we got the buy signal right here. We have price pushing up slightly. We need to confirm the trend though. So price needs to actually push up a bit higher. If it doesn't push up, the trend here is never going to confirm. So ATR is too low. It's at 14, like Maddie said. So we need price to actually push up a bit higher. So we need price to be somewhere like above here. If price pushes above here, the ATR should go up. And then on top of that, the pivots will confirm a bullish trend. Again, right now we're looking for, or we need this red pivot to be below all the other pivots. Once that happens, great. If it doesn't, then, I mean, again, it's just another waiting game. That was my yawn. 7:44. All right, we got 15 minutes till 8. Let's see if we get some movement till then. If not, then it's just gonna be a day with no trades. Yeah, C6 had a yawn indicator, man. He said there goes the yawn indicator. It's time to log off. Yeah, today was pretty boring. I mean, I was hoping there would be more volatility or some sort of, I mean, if you guys took liquidity, you guys are great because you guys took like 4 trades already right there. It seems like a lot of you guys did take those trades, so you guys are okay for today. So looking over here, we have, let's see, we got Randy over here. He took the liquidity earlier this morning. Timestamp is at 6:33. So total profit of 530 for the day. Nice work letting that run to full TP, Randy. So great work right there. Yeah, this is the dinosaur I thought you were talking about, CJ. This one, because it looked like it just opposite, like backwards. So I thought this was the one that you were talking about when you mentioned the pterodactyl. That's probably what you were talking about, but you just didn't know what it was called. Yeah, no, you're right, Maddie. It's exactly what I was thinking too. All right, the volatility is still flat. Still flat. I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll get some volatility like right at the end. This happens sometimes where the market will just be super flat and then it'll pick back up like at the last 10 minutes or so. So if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to put them in the chat. I know typically I don't answer any questions on these live sessions, but I mean, there's nothing for us to look at here. The volatility is too low. I don't think anybody should take any trades right now. Until we start to get some, I would be okay with some crazy movement. If we get some crazy movement here to the upside or to the downside, then great. We can possibly look for, we can sneak a trade in somewhere there. But right now, this volatility is just not it. It's currently at 14. It's not really moving too much. My guess is that a lot of people or there's just market makers in general. They're leaving a flat market until the Fed comes out with their minutes later today. So the Fed minutes come out later today at 11 o'clock. High impact, of course, you're going to go over like interest rates and what they're planning on doing for the next month and like how the recession is and stuff like that. Basically, they had their meeting already. They're just going to release the minutes. So, official documentation of like their meeting. And we'll see if that, if that becomes the case. If not, then we may have an opportunity here for a sell. Just keep that in mind. There's still opportunity here for a sell. It's not there yet, but I mean, it might happen. All right. Yeah, so CJ said that this was the dinosaur he was thinking of earlier. Let's see if I can get it. This one, it's basically the same one that Maddie was mentioning. That's exactly what I thought too. CJ, I was thinking of that one, but with spikes on it, like from Jurassic Park. That's what I was thinking. All right, guys, so we have the red pivot over here. So if the red pivot crosses above the orange pivot, then we have a bearish trend. We don't have a bearish trend yet. I mean, it's sort of there, but it's not really there yet. The trend meter is starting to turn red. So I need price to actually drop down a little bit. The ATR is still very low though. So the thing is here is the ATR is still very low. It's at 14. If the volatility picks up, then the ATR will pick up with it. So we need this to drop down a bit lower, like maybe down to like this area right here or something. And you can see right there, big wick. Definitely not looking like it. Yeah, Oscar said we got a pending sell in the 5-minute too. So, I mean, price may be coming down, but it's going to be a matter of time until it does. It's probably not going to happen by 8 o'clock. It's 7:48 right now. So we got 12 minutes till 8. I mean, who knows? Maybe at the last like 10 minutes, like I said earlier, the volatility might pick up. Typically, if the market's really slow around this time, the volatility starts to pick up around 8 o'clock. Again, 8 o'clock is past my trading time, so I'm not going to trade after 8. I got to stick to my trading rules. I mean, I'm doing pretty good for the week so far, so I don't really need to force any trades. So I think we did the math yesterday with my profits for the week so far. So for the week so far, I'm currently so these are my profits for the week, right? So I don't really need to force anything, because if I force something, it's just going to be bad news for me, because then I'll probably lose all my profits. So for this week so far, 3,100 plus 3,400 plus 3,400 plus 3,400 plus 2,850 plus 2,650 plus 2,650. So I'm currently at 21,450 across all my accounts. I don't really need to force anything, right? If I force something, I'll probably be down. I'll lose half that, which is not necessarily a good, it's not a good look. I'm not trying to be at that point. Right, I need price to drop down a little lower. The red pivot still hasn't shifted yet above them. So I mean, so here's one thing. If you guys want to take a risky entry, this is going to be the risky entry right here at this point. There's no confirmation yet of the trend, so I wouldn't have taken it. And the ATR is too low. So the ATR is currently at 13, but if you guys are looking for risky entry, that's where it would have been. Price is slightly bearish right here. It's not very strong, but it is slightly bearish. So this would be the case right here. Obviously, I'm not in the position, but I think if this continues to push lower, this is going to confirm the trend once the red pivot goes above the orange right there. So I'm not in this position, but for the people who are looking to take risky trades, see that the red pivot here hasn't shifted yet. So I would have to wait for this red pivot here to be above all the levels. Once we have that, then I maybe would look for an entry here. Also, I would need the ATR to be a bit higher, but this is the main thing I'd be looking for. So once this red pivot goes above the orange, then at that point we have a bearish trend. The only reason I'm looking at this is because I used to have a strategy a long time ago where this is what I would look for. I look for these crossovers. If this red would cross the yellow, I would look for an entry at that point. That was before I had the momentum signal. And let me see if there's an example over here from when it happened. So you guys can see over here. So see how this red pivot crossed below the orange? I would have taken an entry right there. Yeah, exactly. C6 said he still uses it. It's in the trading videos. This is one of the original strategies I had before. Whenever these cross right here, I would take an entry, and you guys can see how it pushes up. So that's one of the main things that I'm looking for. I'm looking for that crossover. Once I have that crossover, then price might continue to drop. However, there's no more sell signal. So at this point, there's like no opportunity for entry. The volatility is still very low. There's just nothing else here. But yeah, if you guys want to go back and look at that, I mean, you guys can just take a peek at that. Look at the crossovers whenever the red crosses over the orange, and then use momentum as your direction. So for example, right here, see we have a sell momentum. Actually, it's not a good example. Okay, so see, for example, here we have a sell momentum, and you can see over here. So I'm gonna circle this sell momentum, and then right here, you can see the red crosses over the orange. So at this point right here, the entry would happen right here, this candle. And you can see how you can go for a pretty nice move right there. It happens very often. I mean, it's not super random. I mean, it happens super often when these cross over. So again, right here, for example, there's a buy signal. And then you can see over here where the crossover happens right here. So on this candle right here is where your entry would have been. It's green candle. And then you go for, I mean, this is pre-market, so you probably would go for a smaller move, maybe like five points instead of 10. But this is pre-market, so you wouldn't even apply this during pre-market. You'd have to look for when the volatility is high. You can look at the ATR too. Yeah, if you look at the ATR right here, so at this candle, you can see the ATR down below is at 5. So you wouldn't even have taken the trade at ATR. There would still have to be some volatility. All right, so we got price pushing back up right here. Let's see if we have, I mean, maybe a last minute opportunity here as we get closer to 8. Price is climbing back up. I mean, for me personally, I would like to take a buy here. I'd rather take a buy than sell because I think a lot of these sellers here are still going to get wiped out. Right, 67% short. I would prefer to go against retail, definitely. So here we go. As price starts to climb up a little bit. Again, I'm looking for the pivots over here. If the pivots start to shift, then great. We got like 6 minutes here. Maybe we'll get some volatility these last 6 minutes. It looks like it's happening. Got some volatility right here. Looking for this red pivot to shift again below all the candles. So if this candle here closes green, I think the pivots will shift. You'll get this this red pivot below all the other pivots. And then it'll be back to being bullish. And you can see the trend mirror down here is turning blue. All right, so we do have a confirmation here. It's a possible opportunity right here at the 10. All right, let's see. I mean, the volatility is still kind of low though. So if anything, I'm gonna have to pull out as the price, comes back up or whatever. The only downside is gotta watch it. So how you doing? All right, let's see what happens here. Volatility is super dead. I'll have to manually close out. This price climbs up a little bit. When the volatility dies down as soon as you get into the position. All right, we go. Wow. Stupid FT. My MC4 is kind of slow, but I got out. All right, so full TP right there, guys. Played out perfect, just like we were looking for. Waiting for the pivots here to shift. Price pulled back. Volatility is kind of low. That's the reason why I pulled out on time, guys. I wasn't here to wait and see if this thing would push out further, even though it did. The volatility was too low. It was at 14. This was a bad trade, to be honest, guys. Even though it hit, it was an official entry because all things lined up. This was still a bad trade in my opinion because ATR was still low. The only reason I was okay with picking this up is because I saw the pickup in volatility right here. So I knew the ATR was going to pick up. So for this one right here, the even though it did win and it did fall under criteria, the one thing here that I skipped a step for would be the ATR. So this here again would probably be another, I mean, I would probably consider it risky trade in my opinion, and probably a bad decision in my opinion, but it still played out. So yeah, if you guys took it, great. If you guys didn't, it's completely actually you're right. So my bad. This right here, so this was actually not a good, this was a completely bad trade, guys. Maria just mentioned one thing that I didn't even realize. I entered before the candle closed. So it technically would have filled right now, like Maddie said. So yeah, technically it would have filled right here, and it looks like it's still going to pull back up to TP right there. Yeah, it looks like it's going to push back up right there. So Maria, you're right, 100% right. I actually entered this too early. It filled right here and it's probably hits again. It did. So either way, I just got in early, but it still would have filled right here again and would have went straight to TP on this one. Right there. So thanks, Maria, for bringing that up. It still would have TP'd anyways. But yeah, I did enter a little too early. And it's now 8 o'clock and we're out. So I'm done with trading for today, guys. I'll take a screenshot of my profits. I'll post this up real quick over here as well. Let's give you guys a little update. Yeah, Maria, 100%. And I'm glad that you guys actually call me out on this, right? Because if you guys don't call me out on this, then I'm gonna keep making the same mistakes. So thanks, Maria, for the heads up on that right there. either way, altogether, that trade was a FOMO trade. I probably would not have taken that if this happened earlier in the market, but we got close to market close over here. I saw the volatility pick up. It was just me being me, obviously trading the trade. Let me go over here and take a screenshot of my profits. I wish there was a way to just screenshot or like to have all of the top step accounts together, but it's all good. Same profits across both the accounts. So all right, so there goes my top step. Let me go over here real quick. So I didn't really make too much for the day on my MT4s because I had to pull out a little early because of whatever, the volatility is just too low. I wasn't willing to risk too much for a dumb trade like that for the most part. So let me just screenshot this real quick. But overall, I'm doing pretty good for the week. So no complaints on my end. Profits posted, feel free to send them in. I'm going to go ahead and post mine up as well. Let's see. Post this first one up so I can see what my profits are looking like. Okay, so here are my profits across all of my accounts, and I'll take individual profits as well. So here goes my profits across the day for my MT4. My main FTMO locked in 470. I was in a lot of profit actually on that account. I was at like 700, almost 800, but when I closed out, there's some slippage, so it's all good. It happens. My second FTMO locked in 120, some slippage there for sure. All right. And then my MFFs. All right, so let me go over here and I'll just post up my profits real quick. 470, 20. All right. So there goes the profits across all my accounts. So here are my profits for the day so far. Let's see. Here's my top step. I locked in 750 on both of them. So I'll just add up my profits real quick. So here are my profits for the day so far. 750 times 2. That's both my top steps. And then plus 470 plus 120 plus 470 plus 470 plus 120 plus 120 plus 120. So total profit of 3,390 for the day. Just took one trade, this trade right here. Nothing too crazy. Profit's profit. I mean, if you're making 3,000 in a day, there's not so much to be mad about, right? You make 1,000 a day, it's not so much to be mad about either. It's a lot of money. You think about it with just 1 hour of work here trading with me on this live session. So that's how much profit I made for the day so far. And then for the week, I'm currently up 35.70, 35.20, 38.70, 38.70, 29.70, 27.70, 27.70. So I'm up 23,340 for the week so far. So up 3,000 for the day, 23,000 for the week. No losses. Only took about 3 trades this week, so didn't really take too many. But I have multiple accounts, so they add up. So those are my profits, and I'll just put over here too. So top step. Number one. FTMO number one. Two. Three. FTMO number four. And you guys can see these are multiple accounts. I was like, people always ask me like if I'm trading multiple accounts, and I'm like, yeah, these are all different accounts, because I mean that's why I have my copier here. These are all different accounts. They're not just one account that I'm trading. So once you feel confident enough, open multiple accounts and just add them to your copier. They're not that difficult to use, especially for something like MT4. So, all right, those are my profits for the day so far. Locked in 470 on my first FTMO, 120 on my second FTMO, 470 on my FTMO number three, 470 on my FTMO number four, 120 on my MFF number one, 120 MFF number two, MFF number three, and then my top step 750 for both accounts. I was only in that position for about 39 seconds, quick in and out. Some more profits over here. Let's see from Kenny. Nice work, Kenny. So Kenny said you're going to start setting profits for accountability. Yeah, that's exactly what you should do. So nice work right here, Kenny. You took 8 wins, 2 losses, total profit of 1,970. That's great work right there, Kenny. You think about it, you make 2,000 a day. Like if you do the math, guys, like realistically, like not even 2,000. I'm going to be very conservative here, right? You make 1,000 a day, which is very possible. You take one good trade and you're solid, right? You take a couple good trades and you're solid. 1,000 a day times 5. It's 5 days a week. You trade with me Monday through Friday. 4 weeks in a month times 4, that's 20,000 a month, times 12, you're gonna make 240,000 a year, right? Just trading one trade a day, one good trade, and hitting your TP for 1,000. Or if you have like multiple accounts, then you multiply that. So great work right there, Kenny. And like Kenny said, he's gonna start sending his profits just for accountability. So just do that. You don't have to share with the group. I mean, Kenny, we're in a private chat, so I can't even save this if I wanted to, but I guess I could save it, and then I can just, because everybody should be given praise for like what they do. Not everybody can do this. Yeah, we got Vincent over here. So Vincent got in super late on the other account too, on the other trade. So total profit of 315 right here for Vincent. Nice work, Vincent. And I think that's about it. So if there's anything else that you guys want to send in, feel free to send them in. I'll post up the profits for everybody later today. But I think that's about it for today. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat now. Otherwise, you guys can always message me. Yeah, James said this is the first group where sharing profits is more motivating than people flexing. Really helpful, Sean. Yeah, definitely, James. I mean, it's really, the thing is, if you post the profits and I see your guys post your profits and I see you guys, like, I see a fluctuation, I'll call you out on it, right? So that you can actually understand that, hey, okay, you might be doing something wrong. Because if you're just focusing on a few trades a day and you have your consistency, then you should be fine. If you look at everybody's profits here, like Vincent, today he logged in 315, right? If you look at Vincent from yesterday, so let's see, where's Vincent at? I think he posted his profits yesterday. Or was it the day before? Or the day before that? I forget, but like, yeah, if you guys look over here, if you guys look at everybody's profits, because I post everybody's profits every day. So if you look at everybody's profits, I know everybody individually. Like if you guys might not think that I know you, but if you post up your profits, I know you from your profits. Like if you look at Dejan's profits from yesterday. So today, Dejan, I swear he sent in profits today, but I don't know if I forgot to save them. But we'll use somebody we're not going to use somebody that's like very consistent, right? We're not going to use Patricia as an example because she's always locking in the same profits every day. She's going to do well. You can see Johnny. So Johnny's one good person to use as an example. Johnny's a new trader, just like a lot of you guys here. Johnny locked in 1,000 today, right? Johnny every day sends in his profits. If you look at his profits from yesterday, Johnny locked in, I swear I'm like missing people. Oh, there you go. So Johnny locked in 1,500 the day before that, right? So if you look over here, like people will have their consistency. And It's all about trade psychology, guys. Like for me, for example, I give you guys a blueprint. You guys take the same exact trades I take. There's no reason for you guys to lose any trades here. If you guys are on the live session, we maybe lose like 1 or 2 trades a month. That's an entire month. So if you guys are just following directions, you have your trade psychology on point, you're taking your trades, you're exiting when you need to, you guys should have no problem being consistently profitable. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, CJ said, right, Sean, everybody can't do this. It's mostly psychology, and many people don't realize that. Yeah, and Kenny also mentioned, I found that psychology is the most important, but also the hardest thing to keep intact. Yeah, and I think if you guys trade with me live every day, this is going to help your trade psychology get better because you're going to, my good habits are going to wear off on you guys. So you guys will see here, even though this trade won, I told you guys this was a bad trade, right? This was a mistake on my end. For one, I entered the trade late, and then for two, I entered with low volatility. So even though I did win this trade and I made profit on the trade, I still called it out as a bad trade because, it's all about trade psychology here. Stick to the game plan, stick to the trading plan, and you should be fine. But all right, guys, I think that's it for today. If there's any other question that you guys have, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I think we're going to just close this up for the day. There's no need to continue trading, guys. The volatility is very low. It's currently at 12 right now. I think the market may be slightly flat up until 11 o'clock when the Fed news comes out. But even when the Fed news comes out, you don't want to be trading because at that point, you're going to be caught in some nasty moves. So, all right, guys, other than that, yeah, Patricia said, Sean, you may want to start looking at the high level momentum again. I'll probably take a look because it does look like it's been hitting, right? Like, for example, right here, lower low, buy signal, straight to full TP. Yeah, again, right here, lower low, buy signal, straight to TP. So maybe something to take a look at as we continue moving forward. But as you guys can see, the strategies tend to work for the most part all throughout the year. Yeah, TJ caught 2 of them today too. CJ said, is the mentoring session on for tomorrow? So I'll set a poll up today, guys. There might be one today or there might be one tomorrow. If you guys are available today, I'll post up a poll and I'll see if I can make it today. Otherwise, I will I'll follow up with you guys once I get my dates. But all right, guys, have a great rest of your day. And if I have one today, I'll send you guys a poll. If